Hey everybody, welcome to this episode of Better Car Washing Everywhere. This is the podcast for you if you are a car wash professional, or maybe you're just car wash curious. I'm your host, Matt DeWolf, and today we're going to dive into something that people are really concerned about, and that is capture rates. Friends, everybody's always talking about capture rates. How do I get those retail customers to become members at my wash? We're going to get into it a little bit with some folks who see this every single day and have seen it across several different car wash organizations. Joining me to talk about capture rates is Jordan O'Day and Fransua Perez from Wash Rescue. Guys, welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Are you so ready?
Yeah, I'm so ready.
I think you guys probably talk about this a lot. So this is gonna be a good one for our listeners, because I hope that we can shed a little light and we can help people shift their thinking just a little bit about how important or how not important this particular metric might be. So, first things first. If folks let's just assume that folks have not listened to a previous episode of this, because we are having you all back. Give us kind of the elevator version of how you all got into this industry and where you come from.
Sure, I'll kick it off here. Reintroduced myself into the industry in 2019, opening up single sites, managing multi-sites. Worked vice president of South Florida, did some real estate, construction, permitting approvals, software sales, all within the car wash space over the last 6-7 years. And here we are with Wash Rescue with my partner, Fransua.
Joined the space in 2020. Single site, became multi-site operator, with locations, tens of thousands of members, and washing thousands of cars every day. So we've done a lot. And now, Jordan and I do Wash Rescue. Yeah. Oh, quite a bit.
You've seen some things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the fun part is now, you guys have been in this business a little bit, and you've gotten to see kind of how things work and really kind of put in systems and processes and all that kind of fun stuff. And now you're getting to kind of take that and do that for other people and help other people figure out the path to success that you all were fortunate enough to have. So I'm super excited for folks. Let's get into this. I want to talk about capture rates because everybody wants to talk about capture rates. What's my capture rate? Am I doing good enough? How do I get more? How do I need more members? Blah, 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 blah. Great. Okay. So let's back up a little bit and say, does this, how important is this number? How important is my capture rate?
It's very important. Oh, it's very important, but it's not the only thing that's important. That number, it's how, and I gotta lead off with this real quick, Matt. Some people don't even know how to calculate their own, capture rates. They don't pay attention to it. And we've seen the spectrum from that side where they don't care all the way to the people that only care about that number and they want the number to be as high as possible. We've seen the whole run of it. So, but it's an incredibly important number, but it's not the only thing to look at. Jordan?
It's funny. So just to clarify, to Francois's point, oftentimes when you say the two words capture rate, they're thinking about the AADT off the side of the road and not the actual retail customer converting to a limited paid member. So I think that's number one, just to clarify on the front end. But even to elaborate further, we've seen guys who don't know the number, don't know how to calculate. It's just not on the radar, and they're capturing traditionally at sub 2% of retail customers. So let's just say you had 100 retail customers come through, you were signed up 2 of them, that would be considered a 2%. Now, national average is anywhere between 5 and 10, and we've seen operators capture 40, 50% plus. So when you start to factor in what we like to call lifetime value, how many months that customer stayed a member and paid you, when you're talking about a 10, 15% swing for every 100 opportunities, that's an incredible amount of tangible cash that just gets totally missed and unrealized. So it's an incredible number when it comes to protecting your business from competition, having the members, rainy days, and having that action on site from constantly having a busy business creates, action breeds action. Nobody's going to a slow restaurant, slow car wash typically. Yeah. So it just factors into a million different things.
Yeah, people get worried if they're driving past the car wash or any business and it's a ghost town in the parking lot. You don't want to do it. Yeah, you got to do something to get that action.
Yeah, your immediate thought is, what's wrong with that place?
Exactly.
Yeah, what's wrong with it? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay, so let's start with the calculation piece then. Can you very simply explain to folks how do you calculate the capture rate of your retail customers to membership? Like what are we talking about here? How do we get that number?
So it's an easy number. You're looking at how many total people came to your business that day to pay for a single wash, right? That's your retail opportunities. You add in how many members have washed for that day, or sorry, you subtract from, how many members you had for that day from your total wash count. And then you look at how many sales you did, right? And you're dividing that number to get down to your percentage. So like Jordan's example, if you had, let's say it was 200 total cars in a day, 100 of them were members. So your retail opportunities were 100 and you sold 2 memberships. That's 2 out of 100. There you go.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
Perfect. We have solved the problem. Everyone can now calculate their capture rate and getting those retail customers to members. Perfect. See, that's what we're here for. We're just solving problems.
There we go.
Jordan, you brought up another interesting calculation for folks that I think is a little bit of a foreign concept here in the car wash space so far. Lifetime value. Can you just talk a little bit about lifetime value and what is that?
Yeah, lifetime value is, basically on average, how many months at what price point that person basically was a customer of yours from the start of their journey to the end of their journey. There's more tools nowadays where you can start to measure through like license plate recognition and a couple other things, depending on how you manage your site, to where you can start to kind of figure that out with your retail customers. But when you're dealing with the memberships, you know exactly how much they spent, how many times they came, and how long they've been a customer with you. So we've seen lifetime values of memberships at full service car washes as high as $500. Mm-hmm. And, on the low end nationally, anywhere between $250 and $350, which is the lifetime value. So just like, not unlike a team member, the average member stays on a plan approximately 9 months. And, something that can help you increase that lifetime value is some sort of automatic downsell or retention offer to when people go to cancel those plans, that you say, hey, are you sure? Are you sure you wouldn't like to be in that plan? And based on your market, the price points, etc., we've actually noticed with some of these retention offers in particular, lifetime value doubles from $350 to $700 to $800 because you're keeping them in for basically an additional 7 to 9 months after that downsell retention comes into play. We're not even talking about making them stickier with family plans and increasing the lifetime value that way. That is just from downselling. So, wow. It's far harder to sell a new member than it is to retain a current customer, as you can see with all the retention centers from Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, et cetera. Yeah. This is nothing new, but the car wash space is newer to this space.
Stole the words right out of my mouth. I was going to mention that. Said if anyone's ever tried to cancel your phone service or your internet service provider, that you can't get to the end of that phone call unless you talk to the retention center. And they spend a lot of money on those retention programs to get you in, keep you at whatever price they can, because it is much cheaper to keep you than to acquire a new customer. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that's a big one, right? Because we're still in this industry at the phase where we just, we're throwing out. If we're lucky, we have a grand opening, we can get lots of members that way, right? Mm-hmm. We're running some promotional offer that way. But for the most part, when we're talking about trying to drive new retail traffic to a location, we don't know. Like, we're just kind of like hoping, and it's like we don't have a cost per acquisition number for our customers really that we can point to. We're just spending our marketing budget. We're throwing out flyers. We're doing community event things. But when you think back to like, just what if we just did that grand opening and kept all those people? Wouldn't that be easier? Wouldn't it just be easier if we just kept the 5,000 or 7,000 people we got in the first, month and just kept them a long time? Then we wouldn't have to worry so much. I mean, yeah, is the other stuff important? Yes, you need to keep your funnel going. But, man, retention matters. Retention really matters.
Huge thing that's been super successful with operators on these new store openings is running some sort of Founders Club promotion, to where they sell these plans pre-opening and maybe 30 days up to post-opening, to where they have a special discounted rate, and they keep that forever as long as they maintain the plan, and those plans typically don't churn out as high. I was speaking with a gym multi-site manager, and before they open a new gym, they do a 24-hour flash sale on their gym memberships. And they sold 1,500 members in 24 hours at this reduced price point that, again, stays foundational Founders Club pricing forever. So there's all different ways to slice it. To your point, those plans, let's keep that momentum. Let's keep those guys on board. And hey, what's wrong with giving them a little discount? They're going out on a limb and risking their hard-earned money on your brand new business. I want to wow them, so there's really should be no reason to cancel outside of purely a fiscal issue or moving, right? I mean, I'm going to win those guys no matter what.
Yeah, I've seen people line up for a new store opening for a car wash to get special deals, and I've seen 1 year free membership. So the first, let's say 10, 15 people, and they would line up out the door, 30, 40 cars hoping to get their chance to get in there. So there's a lot of ways you can do it. I believe the Founders Club, the discounted rate that Jordan's talking about, is the more effective option, as opposed to, you don't know if those free members are going to translate into paying customers at the end of that year. You hope that they do, and you wow them with, your service, but it's not always guaranteed. But the discounted rate, they usually stay on.
Yeah, the free thing is scary, right? Mm-hmm. Because you immediately anchor them in lower value.
Yep.
Right. So then, yes, can you build the habit of washing by giving them a wash for free for a year? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But at what level are they valuing that? So you're already anchored them at free. So now you're going to come up from that, and it's like, now it's 20, 30, 40 bucks a month. That feels really expensive from free.
Yeah.
It feels really expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a great topic you just brought up here, Matt. So, a lot of times we see a lot of operators run these promotions where it's a penny to sign up, $1 for each of your first months, $5 for 6 months, all these crazy programs. And what we end up finding out is, to your point, as soon as they go up to full retail price, they're canceling those plans. Because what ends up happening is that we end up signing up a member to help boost capture rate because it makes us feel good, but they're not a qualified customer. So once we get through the new store opening kind of phase, we found that, having just a discounted price point, $19.99, $24.99 for X amount of months, and then going to retail price allows them time to get in the habit of using that wash. And it's not such a jarring reality call when they go from 1 cent to $42.37 post tax on the top plan. It's an immediate dump button, right? So, we're trying to keep that out of the equation and sell to real customers.
It's like, what's the loss leader, right? Like, we don't really have one. Like, we're selling one product. That's what we're selling. So it's really hard to follow other retail strategies where it's like, well, we just need to get them in the door. Well, sure, but you're only selling the one thing. Great. $5 steak. Perfect. Come on in and buy our $50 steak. That's not going to work. It's not going to work.
Yeah, it's tough. Let me add on to that real quick. And Jordan, you might already be thinking that not necessarily a loss leader, but something to get them in the door. You can always position your lowest level package, your wash, as a little bit cheaper and leave everything else the same and use that as an advertising tool, right? And just say, hey, if you're entry-level wash, I don't like to say basic wash. I like entry-level wash. It sounds nicer. Basic, it's just soap and water. I feel like I'm downplaying, the service that I'm providing. But so for an entry-level wash, if it's normally $10, discount it to $5 and advertise that. And when they come in, they realize, hey, okay, that $5 wash is great, but if I got the 15, there's tire shine on that. And then you can start building the value from there, walk them in. You're just getting them in the door. So there's a way to do it without it being a loss leader like Costco chicken, right? Rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
All these eggs.
Yeah. Fransua, I have the reason why you might start to like the term basic for your lowest level. Yeah. How many customers do you want to be basic?
0.
Right? You look at that menu, you're like, do you really want to say, I'll take the basic wash? No, nobody wants to be basic, right? At least, like, I want to be ultimate. Let me be ultimate. I want the ultimate wash.
Yeah.
We've heard guys say, it's just a soap and water entry-level wash. It's their basic wash. Are you sure you don't want tire shine on that?
Yeah.
Hey, to take Fransua's thing to the next level, though, some of the top dogs in the industry, the L Car Washes of the world, the Johnny Cleans of the world, when you go to their website, the first thing that pops up is a pop-up that says, hey, speaking of loss leaders, try our top wash package, normally 30, 35, 40 for 10. Hey, last time I checked, it cost anywhere between $3 and $6 to hit the button, depending on your market. You're not losing any money on the deal, and you're driving in new people, and then you can use that data, then go out and market them, see who's coming in and redeeming those things, send them with the text messages and emails and do all that stuff. So it's every inch counts, Matt. That's going to be my phrase this series.
Every inch counts. Yeah,
it.
every inch counts. We were starting down the path of qualifying customers. That's a fascinating topic. What does that look like in this space? I don't think anybody's. I mean, are people doing that?
Some.
Yeah, some. Not
Fransua
many.
just wrote an article on pricing psychology. It should premiere next month in Auto Laundry if you want to speak to that.
Sure, yeah. We could talk about it.
Throw that in. You can cut that out if you like.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's a whole thing. When you're selling and going back to conversion rates, every inch matters. And that I give classrooms teaching on how to do sales, because it's not just how well can I talk to somebody. I need to have a good product to sell. The wash has got to be great. The vacuum quality's got to be good. Am I dressed appropriately for this interaction, right? Jordan has mentioned this before. I've said it a bunch of times. How you're presenting yourself to a customer, they're going to make a decision with you, a snap decision, whether they're going to trust you or not when you talk about memberships. Are you building the value? For me, when I talk to someone, going back to your question about qualified customers, I'm going to ask them, how often do you wash your car? How far away do you live? Are you close by? Is this your first time at a car wash? Those for me are qualifying questions to see if this person is going to be a good fit for the program, because that's what you're doing. You're trying to fit this customer to the right plan for them. And ideally, if you get that match correctly, their lifetime value goes through the roof. You don't want to put somebody who's maybe on a more constrained budget on the highest tier package if, maybe they're only washing once a month, maybe a lower tier package, and they stick with you for 2 years. You see what I mean? So you want to get that because you end up getting more. As a business, you make more money from that customer, and they're happier paying that lower cost, right?
I think the missing piece for a lot of operators is they're not thinking of it that way. They're not thinking about it in terms of like, in this process, in this conversation, I need to qualify to see if it would be a fit.
Yeah.
Most people's scripts just sell. Don't do that. That's negative brand experience, and that's gonna tank you, man. It's gonna tank you.
Matt, I'm gonna jump in one more time here, Jordan. I'll let you go.
Lay it on me. Lay it on me.
Listen, we go all over the country, Matt, and we go incognito to car washes to check them out, and people immediately are jumping straight into, hey, would you like to buy a membership? I don't know anything about their washes. And mind you, I'm a car wash expert, and I don't know anything about their washes. They haven't built any value. They're not telling me why this is a great thing. And they're just immediately asking, do I want to do a membership? Solely based on a price and a supposed savings. And I got to tell you, some customers, for them, the price is not what matters. For some customers, it's the convenience. For some people, it's the customer service. I'll tell you, as a consumer, I will pay more for convenience. If something is more convenient in my life, I will pay extra for it. But for some people, it's exclusively the price. So if you're just jumping in and saying, hey, it's the same as 2 washes the entire month, and you haven't told me how great it's going to clean my car or any of the other benefits, why would I be excited about it?
Yeah.
Jordan?
Absolutely. There's an opportunity here. You can cut this a couple of different ways. So, some operators are okay if they need an injection. They just want a big slew of members. They want to get the word of mouth out. They can do, a limited time offer, 1 cent, $1, but they have to know when they anticipate the guys who do it that they're going to have churn over the next 30, 60, 90 days, depending on the promotion. But hopefully that spark of energy, that excitement, that action on site is going to help drive the rest of the business, so they're willing to take that risk in certain scenarios. To qualify the customer via pricing, we don't like to offer any membership, quite frankly, less than probably around $20 a month, because, that's just the bottom of the barrel pricing, when you're averaging 3.5 to 4.5 washes per month, on the program. Kind of bouncing around here. There's a couple different topics, but, I wanted to rehash what Francois just said. So when we qualify the customers in multiple ways: probing questions, pricing, promotion, so on and so forth. But when someone comes out the gate, it's either one of two ways, Matt. It's either someone walks, "Hey, welcome to such and such car wash. Would you like to buy a plan today?" Or or there's nobody there, or there's no mention of the membership. So, what I always like to tell our teams that we're training when we're out in the field and doing classrooms, and shoot, our first question is, "Hey, have you ever been here before? If so, great, welcome back. Where's your membership?" Now we have a talking point. If not, "Hey, awesome. Thank you so much for coming to see us. What wash would you like to pick?" And basically the whole program is I don't know about you guys. Are you married, Matt, by chance? I don't know.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Married. Francois is married. I'm married. Hey, unless you guys are really crazy, most of y'all probably went on a couple dates before you got married too, right? So, oftentimes on those first washes, "Hey, no problem. Stick with the first wash." I do the same thing. As a matter of fact, I'm going to meet you down on the other side of the property. I want to take a look and make sure your car is exactly how you want it. And if you love it, I'll take that single wash price off your membership today, and we'll put a ring on it. How's that sound? And that's how you go from 10 to 15 to 20 to 25% capture rate, Lance.
Yeah, I can add on there too.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Jordan's-
I mean, I'm buying a membership from Jordan already.
There you go. No, it's perfect. Because I'm the same way. What Jordan just described, that behavior from a consumer, I'm the same way. I don't buy something immediately unless I've tried it. Now, there's some people that do. If you're sometimes a convincing enough salesperson will get you so excited about it that you just jump in right now. And that's something where Jordan and I are a little different on that, because I think that you can do it, but also give them maybe an out on the back end. And for me, it would kind of go like this, say, "Hey, we could get you started today. We get you on the program. What car would you like to use?" I'm assuming they're yes. And getting them in, if they ask me, "Hey, how do I cancel? How do I do this?" Number one, I don't say cancel. I just don't like to say that. I say you can always manage your membership, whether that be through the website or you can come in person. Said it's not a contract. So I want you to try it out. I know you're going to love it, and I know you're going to keep it a long time. But you have that option as well, and we can always manage your account for you. And letting them know that they can do it, they can save money, but they're not tied to me if they don't want to be. But I know I'm going to wow them that they're going to want to stick around. And I like to give that reassurance when I talk to each and every customer. And that's part of converting at a higher level.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I want to come back to these 1 cent offers, right? One key part in that, right? So we were talking about qualifying customers and stuff, and some of these offers. I think where there's huge opportunity for folks is paying attention to who's coming in and using those offers, right? So as it stands today, most of the time that stuff just, it's out there, it comes through, they use this pay station, they use their offer, off they go. There was no conversation, and there's no conversation around, "Hey, I see that you're taking advantage of our 1 cent offer today," and going deeper in that conversation to figure out, are they only coming in because it's 1 cent? Are they only coming in because it's free? Do they just really not wash the car ever? What is it about this person that worked? And paying attention to that so that, number one, should I do it again? If I need that spark and I need to drive retail traffic, will that actually work for me? So great. I know they're going to come in and I know I'm going to capture X. Am I going to churn X? Sure. But that's part of my calculus, and it's going to be fine for my business. But if you're not paying attention and you're not going out there with any kind of plan for what do you do when those 1 centers and those free folks do redeem that offer, you're falling flat. You just threw good money after bad.
That's, Matt, a lot of people a lot of our operators do market or market to a certain extent, to your point. But and it may not be scalable per se, but to your point, if you can have a real life human, a manager, a team member, keeping log, keeping track, interviewing those customers when time permits, during the wash, after the wash, great, fantastic. But one of the things that we do, we handle marketing for a few operators out there in the Southeast, is not only do we place the ads, do the promotions, but then when we create these promotions, we do them in batches, essentially, so we can go out and track and measure the success rates of the different users, the nail salons, the pizza place, the car dealership, et cetera, so we can track and measure that effectiveness. Because to your point, if you don't know what's coming in, what's moving the needle or not, you're just kind of, it's up in the ether and you're just hoping something happens, right? So keeping a pulse through different data dashboards, whatever your point of sale can offer, is absolutely critical. Knowing the score of the game and when to pull the trigger and when to make an adjustment.
When you have these penny plans, like what you mentioned, Matt, it's so cheap that, it's less than even the lowest single wash to get on a membership and watch. I mean, it's a no-brainer for a lot of people. And it's such a no-brainer that it is, like you said, very difficult to understand what it is about this membership that they actually enjoy and how many are realistically going to stick around. Do they like it because it's so cheap? Maybe. Do they like it because they like the quality of the wash? Maybe. You don't know. You don't know until that churn happens, and then people stick around when they stick around. But also, that anchor is so low that any jump is going to be a big jump to do, which is why there is a positive benefit in that you generate action and people are coming to the business and you see cards going around and around and around. People get excited. But beyond that, it can be a little tough to justify penny plans. It is very, very hard to do those.
And I think it puts extra pressure on your product, right?
It does.
You got to be just killing it on site when people come in, because guess what you did? You put you put a large majority of the people who receive this offer into the headspace already. Oh, I'll just cancel that in a month. I'm just going to cancel it. Yep. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it for a month. I'll cancel it. And then I'm going to put a reminder on my calendar for when I want to cancel.
They cancel in the tunnel before they leave.
Yeah, right. They're already done. Yeah. It's like, oh, great. So yeah, and then it's like, well, you better have like a circus happening at your wash, because they gotta like show up and be like, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen, and it's all gold plated, and thanks for the $100 as I left the tunnel. That was cool. Guess what? That's not happening. So yeah, make it easy on yourself, man. Just let's make reasonable offers. Value yourself.
Yeah. Value your product.
Let's go.
That's why I said what I said. If you can generate buzz and generate action, that's a positive. But sometimes those penny plans hurt a lot more than they help.
Yeah. Well, let's move a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, we've sort of talked about conversion rates. We've talked a little bit about kind of these free offers, and we talked a little bit about churn. Let's talk a little bit more about that, like downsells in general. So downsells for me kind of get into this slippery slope space of kind of what we were just talking about with the penny plans, right? So how many downsells should I be willing to go through before I just say, you know what, that customer's not a fit, and I'm just going to take my chances on them being maybe a retail customer on X frequency and let them go?
I can talk about this. I think one downsell plan, but you limit it, is a good option. I don't think that if you downsell them 6 times in a row, they really don't want to do it. They're telling you, and it's too much. And you're right. You water down the brand, and you don't want to do that. So maybe one downsell option with a limit. Hey, let's say that you want to limit it to people that are really not super users. So it could be twice in a month, as an example. If they're using it 2 times or less per month, maybe they get offered a downsell option. Or if maybe it's 4 times in a month and you want to keep them on, right? So it just depends on your demographics. Every car wash is a little different. Some people have 5,000 members that all wash 2.5 times a month. Some people are 10,000 members and they wash 3.5 times a month. You see, so it just depends on your use case. Now, what I also think is important is when members have quit, let's say they haven't been with you for 6 months or 9 months, and you still have their data in the system, try to retarget those guys and give them a special offer based on their historical usage. And it might be a little bit less. It might be the same retention offer, right? They've kind of separated a little bit. They're thinking about it. Their car might be a little dirty. Now you re-engage and say, hey, this offer's here for you.
Yep.
That's another way of doing it.
So we always try to redirect people to the website, because as soon as you blow past 4,000 members at a location, the phone's off the hook. I mean, you can't possibly handle all the incoming traffic, washing 1,500 plus a day, plus the incoming. So a lot of this stuff we try to automate on the front end, like you were saying, Matt, earlier, about having systems and process built into scale. Well, it's not just going to help you if you do scale, it's going to help you scale the single site too.
Yes.
A couple interesting things I wanted to cue off of is that we know of a couple operators in the space that actually operate full-blown call centers, and they do dynamic pricing based on usage. So if my grandma calls up, she washes once every 6 months, they might keep her in at that $14.99 a month promo price that she's been paying. The guy from Uber calls us up and you see 139 washes for the month of June. Actually you're at $129.99 a month. That is what it is. And, even having 3, 4, or 5 people, with some sort of commission style program and an hourly rate, they're saving an additional 10 to 15% of those cancellations by actively calling them. They pay for themselves really quick, especially when you start to scale in volume. So that's something big. When it comes to the customer data too, when people go to cancel, I'm not like, hey, you don't do it here on site. You got to go online. Get out of here. No, we try to take care of the customer, and we'll bring them in the office and we'll pull up the amount of usage. Hey, did you know you washed 39 times in the last 3 months on an average wash of $4 a wash? We saved like $592 being a member. Are you sure you want to cancel today? I can keep you in this plan at $19.99. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Boom. Then, hey, retention is everything. So those are a couple of different tricks we've seen in the space work successfully.
Let me add into that specific example. When you talk to the customer, that one-on-one interaction does a lot for customers. When they know they can talk to you, to the business, get a face of the organization, that means a lot to them. And what I've learned dealing with all these sites is that sometimes they just don't know what they're paying for anymore. They don't understand. So a little bit of information, a little bit of education keeps them in the plants. I've talked to many people that are in the top package and they don't understand what carnauba wax is doing for their car. They don't understand what a ceramic is doing for their car. They don't get it. And so by explaining it to them, they realize, you know what? That is a great option. I do want to keep that. And sometimes they just keep the plan instead of canceling it because they realize how good it is for their vehicle.
All right, last one. I got to chime in.
Go
12
ahead.
seconds.
Hit it.
I was at one of the top national brands in the space just yesterday, and I actually went to go downgrade my plan from the top package to the bottom package, and that's exactly what I told her to see what she'd say. Because I don't have the snow, I don't have the salt in Colorado right now, so I don't need the undercarriage. She save a couple bucks, and she said, "Hey, are you sure you want to go down to that base package?" She goes, "We actually have an awesome package right underneath our top. It's actually our summer package with the carnauba wax and the ceramic to keep your paint nice and shiny through the UV rays." And, I know for a fact that this particular brand has no commission. So she was just as a team member
Which is
in
good.
ready position, in uniform, and automatically downselling, and then educated me. I'm getting the chills, Matt, because it was special. I still went with the basics. She can't get me, you know what I'm saying? So,
It didn't work out. But she tried.
She tried. She did the right thing. So, and that just tickles our heart when we see stuff like that. And it was cool to see. So it comes in all different forms.
I love it. Okay, so this could be a 7-hour episode. And we're gonna try to not do that, but I do have a couple more questions. Are we tracking the right things? Like, right? So we got capture rate, we got churn, we got LTV. What are we missing? And is any one thing more important than the other?
No, they all play into each other.
I know that's a loaded question, but go ahead.
They all play into each other. They all matter because you can have, it's almost like levers. You can have an incredibly high capture rate, but if your churn rate is creeping up as well and your lifetime value is through the floor, then it doesn't matter. Your funnel's big, but they're falling out of the bottom just as fast. So it's important to find a healthy balance of, good capture rate, higher lifetime value, and lower churn. And you're going to see all of those things work in conjunction. Jordan, did you want to say something there?
Yeah, we actually just did this with a client this morning, just through a DRB platform, but there's a ton of different softwares out there that can help you get more data. One of the things that we like to measure specifically is ARM recharges, unlimited membership recharges is a little different, the verbiage for everybody. But we want to be able to see that number going up in the right direction, right? Scaling upwards. If we notice that recharge totals are going down, it probably means our member counts are going down, which means we might have an issue we got to look at. So that's something in particular I would be taking a look at. Another one that I don't think gets taken seriously enough is social sentiment.
100% agree.
Oh,
I 100% agree. You
It's
know,
totally off the radar reservation for most guys. Francois, I mean, let me just tee up on this while I got a fresh thought. If one or two people tell you your car wash isn't washing well out of 10,000 reviews, well, maybe that's a one-off, right? But if I got 15 reviews out of the last 100, hey, my store's capping at 40%. That's great. I go on Google reviews and we've seen it. Salesman's aggressive, overly pushy, wouldn't sell me a single wash. The list goes on. 1 star, 1 star, 1 star, 1 star. That hurts your Google reviews. That hurts your Google feed. It hurts the social sentiment. And then don't get me started on the replies. That would have never happened at my car wash. Shame on you. Blah, blah, blah. Even
you're
if
the
they're
worst
totally
customer I've ever seen.
yeah, I hate you. It's like, listen, there's a certain way to handle those too, which could be a whole nother episode. So,
Yeah,
Francois, go for it.
yeah, no, I agree 100% because as a consumer myself, when I'm looking at places that I've never been to, I don't know anything about, I look at the reviews, predominantly Google reviews, and I'm going to look at it. And in my brain, I'm already thinking if they're below a 4.0 in stars, they got a real problem. Something's really an issue there. That's just, I'm making a snap judgment. Something's wrong.
Yeah.
Or they're just not focusing on it, which is a problem again. If they're above 4.5, hey, they're doing something really right. I'm still looking at the 1 stars. I want to see if there's a common theme there. People look at that stuff. I know I do. And so I make sure to mitigate those as fast as possible and respond to them in a professional way that really tries to deal with that issue, because I know that I'm not just responding when I'm handling Google reviews. I'm not just responding to that single customer. I'm responding to the world and showing them, hey, this is how we handle this, and we're going to take care of you no matter what. Come to our car wash.
Love it. Love it. All right. Best tip if I'm out there. Okay, so we've established that you can't just look at capture rate. You have to look at the whole picture, right? It's not just about one thing. It's about how are those things kind of playing with each other, and what does that ultimately do, and what can you do to boost all of it, frankly. But if we're only talking capture, and we're talking capture in the sense of getting those retail customers who are on the lot to convert to a paying member, give me one thing. What one thing I can do, or I should try to boost that rate?
As a business owner,
Yeah.
owner operator, go stand in the
Or
lanes.
sales rep.
Go stand in the lanes with your sales rep. Go stand in the lanes while they're selling plans. Hear what they're saying, hear what the customers are saying, and offer feedback. Offer real-time feedback. Help them make the sale. It's everyone wants a higher capture rate, but if you're not willing to go stand in the lanes with them and hear what customers are saying, hear what your people are saying, how can you know how to combat that? And that's a huge difference. The guys that do that right now are the ones that are capturing above 20 plus 25, 30% on average.
90% of our day as leadership would be spent standing in those lanes at all times, either to put out fires, listen, coach, teach, develop, inspire, get people amped up. First customer, who's selling the plan, letting them know the score of the game at all times, which is critical. So you know what to do, what's going on. There's something else I was going to tee up on that. Oh, here's one from the restaurant biz. I'll keep injecting. So here's a tip they can start tomorrow. 1 out of 5 people, if you smile, nod, hey, when you ask them a question, they're going to be agreeable. So when I would walk up to a table, first, 2 tips really. First of all, identify your customer and figure out what could resonate with them. You could figure it out in 2 seconds just by looking at them. Do they have kids in the back throwing Cheerios, messing up the car? Are they a realtor with a pin on them with Remax that, they need to keep a car clean? So you can speak to them as to maybe some of their woes or some of the value that you could add being in their life. And then the other part is the restaurant piece is, hey, how would you like to sign up? Hey, was that going to be American Express or Discover today? I'm nodding. I'm shaking my head. Yes. People are agreeable. And then assuming the sale at the end, not like, hey, do you want to buy this today? Can I get you signed up today? It's like, hey, will that be American Express or Discover? You're going to increase your capture rate 2 to 3% overnight if you just fold in a couple of those at every single interaction.
Assuming the yes is the big thing.
Yeah,
Assuming the
one.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a huge one. I love that. Okay, guys, I'm going to let you off the hook here, but I do have one bonus question, because I always have a bonus question.
I'm ready.
This one's easy. Because we don't do it enough, right? Because we don't recognize our success enough and celebrate it. What's in the last year, one win you've had that we can all celebrate for you or with you. One win. It can be big. It can be small. It can be personal. It can be professional. What's a win?
Go ahead. No, you get it. Hit it. Go. Do it.
You guys are great. You guys have all kinds of wins.
Do
I
it.
love
Do
it.
it. Do it. Hit it one.
I just posted one the other day. We went back and looked at a 3-month engagement with one of our clients in the Florida market, and we basically 5x his capture rate in short order, blended to a 2 times capture rate over where he's been over the last 10 years, and over the last trailing 30 days is closer to 5 times his traditional capture rate. And that was just by designing the menu, a promotion, a flyer, so we can have some reciprocal interaction with the client at the pay stations. And he's seen some true success.
And standing in the lanes. Standing in the lanes. That was the one. That was the example I was going to break up. It's the same one. Yeah. I was just thinking that because it's the most fresh in my mind. But yeah, you can't, once you get all those pieces, it's a game of inches. I'll say it. Jordan's going to say it. We'll say it 100 times. Every little thing matters, from the promotion that you got, the flyer, the people standing there, the owner being involved, thinking about, talking about it. It's everything. And that's how you start increasing your capture rate.
I love it. I love it. Big wins for big and small operators. You know, I mean, we all deserve to be successful. Let's do it together. That's what I say.
Celebrate the wins. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Capture rate belts,
man.
team members of the month. You can't be positive enough.
Perfect. Well, guys, we have lots more to talk about. I'm going to have you guys back for sure. But in the meantime, thanks so much for spending some time and sharing a little bit of your knowledge with me.
Thanks for having us, Matt. Appreciate it.
Yeah, excited to be here. Thanks.
Awesome. Hey, friends, if you're listening and or watching at home, in your car, on the airplane, I don't know why you would, but hey, maybe you are. You know what you need to do. Like us, subscribe to our stuff, share it with your friends, get everybody else listening, because that is how we can take these conversations and spread the knowledge, right? So one last thing for you before you go out there and continue to just kill it when you're washing cars. Go out there today, find somebody, look them in the eyes, and tell them about the impact that they're having in your life or on your business, because it matters more than you know, and it's going to make you feel pretty good too. All right, friends, we'll see you real soon.